So I want a thing called Slim Crystal Bottle. It's Slim Crystal, I think it's the company. And it's a water bottle that has 9 crystals inside that are sealed up. And they say that they give off energy and change the structure of the water. Now, you could call that hocus pocus, and you'll be entitled, but I'll tell you something. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. But I'll tell you something. This is not the first I've heard of this with water crystals, okay? I read all kinds of stuff about all kinds of things. And one of the things that I've heard before I've seen it in different things, where water crystals, this is proven, it's scientifically proven, where they'll, like, if you say bad things to water or whatever, it has all kinds of, like, it looks awful. And then if you say nice things to it, it turns like into a perfect snowflake, perfectly beautiful. And they've proven this. They study these water crystals. So they're calling this living water, and they're saying that these crystals inside do something to the water. And they claim that they've looked under a microscope and they've seen it, okay? But this isn't the first I've heard of it, not with crystals, but with just talking to the water, right? Back when I was in grade school, we had something called SRA cards or something, reading comprehension things, like when I was 9 years old, whatever. I'll never forget it, because one of the things was talking about, and of course as an adult I wound up learning much more about that, plants, where they've proven to, like, plants will respond to, like, loving thoughts versus hateful thoughts, and they won't grow or they will grow, and all this crap. And they've proven all this stuff. They study it, and they study the water crystals. So this Slim Crystal company is calling it living water, and I want it. It's not cheap, but I thought, you know, my mom does it. My mom gets me, you know, for her, for us, whatever, but expensive Christmas presents. So, you know, when she got me that gorgeous, that I absolutely love, that everything's from Macy's, that I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. You might have seen it once in a video, who knows. That color matches my hair perfectly, my golden coat from Macy's. We got a huge discount on. But I want this water bottle. And it is expensive. It's $117 for one, but that's not including tax and shipping, so it's not cheap. It claims, people claim that it does all kinds of things. It could be the placebo effect, but you know what? We just got hundreds of dollars worth of free food, plus three giant 8-ounce things of the colloidal silver, the silver, that, again, not my fault we got 3 orders. We need the money back, and if all they had to do was send FedEx here and they could have it all back. We only wanted 1 order. We don't want 3 identical orders that will total like $600. Like I said, some's MIA. And in my experience, MIA is generally, it had broth in it, it probably leaked all over the place, it probably broke the box, and it'll say pending forever, and it never arrived. So that was at least not the order that the one that we're paying for, okay? So, like I said in the other video, we didn't get as much free as we would have if everything had turned out perfect. But the most perfect thing is that the order, for whatever reason, fade. It's only fade. Since they were identical orders, it's total fade. The last order placed, they were placed within minutes of each other, for whatever reason, again, fate, it arrived in perfect condition. Every bit of it. even the bone broth was, instead of being packed on top of each other like they always do, they did it side by side like wine bottles, and it arrived in perfect condition. Nothing wrong at all. But the other two orders that are free, identical orders for a little, about 200 something each. Except the final order was cheaper because it was missing the cereal because it was out of stock after getting all the cereal in the first two orders, Because it was 10 boxes of cereal for Nut Cascading Farm, so. And that's because it's 20% off discount. And the reason I'd be doing that. $20 off. It's just 20% off food, right? The silver I got, it wasn't there for the silver's not food. Silver's to help out my mom. She's sick. It's always good to have the silver anyway. Anyhow, one box is supposedly going to come Saturday from one of the orders, but another box says pending. Pending generally means that something happened to it and we'll never see it again. We'll never get it. Okay? Too bad, because the pending box is the one that had the $80 bag of 5-pound hemp in it. So, anyhow, it's gravy, it's not my fault. They needed to give the money back. I repeatedly told them, you want to send FedEx here, you can have it all back. I separated it all, and I'm only keeping the one order, No, they didn't bother, so we got free stuff. So we got all that free food, I should be able to get my Slim Crystal water bottle that I want. They're also going to give a free bracelet worth $30 that has crystals on it. People that swear by it, there are people that are going to say it's hocus pocus. But again, what's not hocus pocus is that water crystals do change. So if they can change from talking to them they can form beautiful structures depending on what you say, or they're all awful, then why wouldn't these crystals also be able to affect the water? People ask questions, they'll say, does it really change? Is it scientifically proven? Can you do it? But we can't test it, so we just have to trust that it does that. Of course, people who don't believe in that kind of stuff will say, even if they have solid proof, and there are pictures out there, there are pictures out there that prove the water crystals change in structure. It's the same damn water crystal, and it looks like a blob of just awful, And then the other water crystal is a perfect crystal, Perfect snowflake. I mean, it looks beautiful. So it makes sense if you're going to drink what they call living water, that it changes into that it's going to affect your body positively. But it could also just be the placebo effect that you believe in it. I want it. In time, I don't want it for Christmas, but we'll get it now as an early Christmas present. I want it, Not that many things that I want. I want this crystal water bottle, and it has a 60-day money-back guarantee. If you decide you don't want to keep it, it's not affecting you positively at all. It claims it can help you lose weight. It claims all this stuff. Now, whether or not any of that's true, well, I do know that the water crystal's changing into beautiful things based on positive energy versus negative energy, positive thoughts, positive words is definitely real, and that is scientifically proven. So it would make sense if you drink that real living water, it would probably positively affect you. Anyway, it's called Slim Crystal. And you did get all that free crap from that. Like I said, not quite $400 and something because we'll see if the other box comes. Supposedly it just says it's been delayed. Again, at least there's no problems whatsoever with the order we're keeping, which is the third order. So that's what's going on. I need to clean this place. Maybe I'll do a dancing video. Says if something happens to my mom, I won't be doing anything. Like I said in the other video, it will kill me. Obviously, it will kill me for a very long time. Cries. You're like, why is this happening to me, Lord? Why? Same reason it happens to anyone else, Mom. You're 76 years old, your body's breaking down. I'll never take any type of segment. I told you that. Donald forced me and I went along with it when I was a doormat. Girlfriend. I'll never do it again. Well, just as an aside, apparently I guess a lot of women have problems when they're in menopause with hot flashes and this, that, whatever. And I don't have any problems. I feel no differently than I did before. And I think that's probably a testament to the supplements that I take in general and the pretty damn healthy eating. I don't know. I just know I haven't been affected at all the way I guess a lot of women are. I'm grateful for. I do take a lot of different supplements and I have for a long time. And that's helped, I don't know. that water bottle. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of drinking all my water out of this bottle. 9 special crystals are sealed up airtight inside. And they say that they give off energy, that they change the structure of the water. They change it into living water that you're drinking. I subscribe to these different people like Danette May, and then how they probably make their money or whatnot by having, they, just like a TV show has commercials, but they refer you to different advertised things, but it's only stuff that they approve of, so I'm only going to get health stuff from health people, okay, like Danette May and others, and they refer you to different things, and because I'm a curious person, I read stuff that interests me. So I read about the water bottle that interests me, and then there's another thing that supposedly, I told you about it at the end of one of my videos, that it, supposedly there's exercises that you can do in different ways that aren't Kegels, they're different or whatever, but so that, which 70% of women are unable to do. So nobody has to feel bad about that. But supposedly, if you follow the things in this, and this was referred to me by Danette May as well as this Slim Crystal bottle, which isn't referred to specifically to me, it's referred to all of her viewers, all of her readers that subscribe to her newsletter. And I've bought her products, I think you guys know that. But then I got pissed because the powder products arrived all opened up in the box, and they just put in there, not even put in a bag or anything, and they just, I don't buy her products anymore. Got back my money, hundreds of dollars worth, and didn't have to return the products, Same thing, if they wanted those back, I would have gladly sent them back as long as you pay for me to do it, since they arrived like that. Anyhow, there's something called something, and I forget the name of it off the top of my head, where women can learn to have an orgasm during penetration, which most women cannot do without, other type of stimulation. But I read that whole thing too because it was interesting. It's like geared towards if you've had kids or whatever, but then people ask in the comments, in the question, they're like, will this still work for me if I haven't had children? And it's geared towards women who've had children, but it definitely could work for you as well. And then the woman who's daring to expose her thing, whatever, but she says that she's just not, never mind, not wanting to, she has a husband, she's like, I didn't want to even have sex with my husband, but then she says I wasn't even interested in like anything, she, you know what I mean, because there are women who can't even do that when, with never mind being able to, most women I mean, that's a vast majority. 70%, that's a lot. Cannot do that without extra stimulation during regular intercourse sex, okay? But there are women who can't even do it with anything, any kind of stimulation. No, so I read it. It was very, very interesting. And it's just not interesting too. It's just exercises that you do. And of course, that's not super expensive, because they make these not super expensive, all these different things that I've ordered for weight stuff, because they make them e-books. You have to have it online. It's not a physical thing, so that's how they get the cost way, way down. But that was fascinating. I chose to read it instead of watch the video. I might watch the video sometimes. Sometimes I can't stand listening to those videos, because sometimes I feel like that they're just going on and on, and but that would probably be interesting. It's a woman's own story. She's being totally vulnerable. She's talking about she just had no interest in any type of sex at all with her husband, and this, that, whatever, and but I liked the idea of this too, because it talks about that it's not just about sex. It's saying something that I can't remember, but having to do with the belly pooch. And a lot of times that might not be fat. It could be there's something going on inside of you, like a misalignment. And apparently these exercises not only, help you have an orgasm during intercourse, but it's also to help realign your insides, because that can, whatever it talked about it, they say it could be dangerous, actually. So it's not just for someone who's, in a sexual relationship or whatnot. And it's called, I told you guys it was called, I just forget. That was fascinating too. I read that whole log thing, That was fascinating. The thing on the slim crystal bottle was fascinating as well. But again, the reason I know all this, I learned all this stuff that I never knew before. I certainly never knew that there could be something going on that causes women's bellies to pouch out, that has nothing to do with excess weight or whatever. I didn't know anything about these crystal water bottles either, though I had heard about them. I'd heard about them, maybe even In Touch talked about it at some point, or the Women's World, 'cause we get both those magazines every week, In Touch and Women's World. Not 'cause I want them, 'cause my mother does. Good for her to read anyway. And she was sick and home and not going anywhere. I'm like, Mom, don't sit there and mope. Read. Do anything. Listen to music. Watch TV. Way better than sitting there doing nothing. Anything that stimulates your brain. Oh, and that thing about the women and you know, supposedly, and they have testimonials, you know, and it's for all ages too. They had testimonials from a woman who was like in her 60s or whatever she was. She was late, and she's like, I want to have sex with my husband again. It's wonderful after doing these exercises and whatever. It's also good for your posture. And so that was fascinating too. I read that. It was interesting. Danette may had in her thing, if you're uncomfortable talking about women's sexuality, whatever, then I'm warning you ahead of time, don't click on this, don't go and listen to it, or read it, or whatever. I did tell you about that at the very end of the, oh, these videos can only go 29 minutes, and that's if I have enough room. Sometimes there's a little less room and it only goes 27 minutes, but I mentioned that, but I mentioned a little more right now. I mentioned that in one of the videos that I did. If anybody would watch the whole thing, then they would know the name of that video. I mean, that interesting thing that, and they just describe how wonderful it is, how different it is if you can have no other stimulation required, and you can have a inside, you know, a vaginal orgasm versus just a regular, you know, non-vaginal one. And without any extra stimulation external that required or whatever. And again, only small percentage of all women are able to do that. So no one has to feel bad that they can't. It's 70% of women cannot. But apparently you can learn. I don't know. I don't know. Just know that if this whole packet thing claims that you do these exercises or whatever, and it realigns your whatever. I don't know. It's fascinating.